Dark clouds swirl above the Aegean Sea. A black-sailed ship cuts through the water carrying a prince bound not for war, but for sacrifice. Beneath the palace of Knossos lies a prison no man escapes. A labyrinth, hiding a creature born from pride, punishment, and a god's twisted will. This is the myth of Theseus and the Minotaur. To understand the terror of the Minotaur, we must begin not with Theseus but with King Minos of Crete. As told in Apollodorus's Bibliotheca and hinted in Ovid's Metamorphoses, Minos sought to prove his divine right to rule by praying to Poseidon for a sign. The sea god answered by sending a magnificent white bull from the ocean's depths, a creature so beautiful it was meant to be sacrificed in Poseidon's honor. But Minos, enamored by its majesty, betrayed the god and kept the bull. In divine retribution, Poseidon cursed Minos' wife, Queen Pasiphae, with an unnatural desire for the beast. The brilliant craftsman Daedalus was ordered to construct a hollow wooden cow in which Pasiphae could hide and consummate her obsession. From this union was born the Minotaur, half man, half bull, named Asterius by some accounts, a creature of violence and shame. Unable to kill the abomination, Minos commissioned Daedalus to build a structure so intricate that escape would be impossible. A labyrinth beneath the palace of Knossos. The Minotaur was imprisoned there, but it needed to feed. Fate provided a cruel solution. After the death of Minos' son Androgeus, killed in Athens under mysterious, possibly treacherous circumstances, Minos waged war on the city and won. As penance, the Athenians were forced to send 7 young men and 7 young women every 9 years, or annually in some versions, to be devoured by the monster. According to Plutarch's Life of Theseus, this horrifying tribute plunged Athens into grief and fear, and it was during one such cycle that the young prince Theseus volunteered to go, not to die, but to slay the beast and end the curse. Theseus boarded the ship with black sails, which by agreement with his father King Aegeus, were to be replaced with white if he returned alive. In Crete, fate introduced him to Ariadne, daughter of Minos and Pasiphae. Struck by his bravery and beauty, Ariadne secretly aided Theseus. As recorded in Apollodorus and Hyginus, she gave him a sword and a ball of thread, gifts whispered to her by Daedalus himself. Theseus tied one end to the entrance of the labyrinth and descended into the darkness. The walls seemed to move. The passages turned back on themselves, but he pressed on, guided by thread, instinct, and courage. In the deepest chamber of the labyrinth, the Minotaur awaited, feral, enraged, and monstrous. Theseus and the beast clashed in a brutal hand-to-hand struggle. The sword gleamed, but it was Theseus's strength and precision that allowed him to pierce the creature's heart. Some versions describe it as a swift assassination, others as a prolonged battle of attrition. Either way, the monster fell, and the prince retraced his steps, using the thread to lead the other Athenian youths out to safety. It was the first time anyone had ever escaped the labyrinth. Theseus fled Crete with Ariadne, but their romance ended in mystery and sorrow. According to Ovid, he abandoned her on the island of Naxos, some say at the urging of the gods, others out of cold ambition. Dionysus would later claim her as his wife. But Theseus's return to Athens brought a different kind of tragedy. In his exhaustion or despair, he forgot to switch the ship's black sails to white. His father, watching from Cape Sunion, saw the dark sails and, believing his son dead, hurled himself into the sea. That stretch of water is now known as the Aegean Sea. The story of Theseus and the Minotaur is more than a tale of heroism. It's a myth steeped in psychological complexity, exploring themes of guilt, human sacrifice, divine punishment, and the blurred lines between civilization and monstrosity. The Minotaur, born of a queen's lust and a king's pride, represents the consequences of broken divine contracts. The labyrinth reflects the human mind, twisting, confusing, concealing. And Theseus, often seen as a model hero, is also a tragic figure whose actions lead to love, betrayal, and the death of his own father. The myth survives because it is layered, haunting, and painfully human.